Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation. What is sensorality? What is a sensor? How is censorship naturally defined? So I continue to be held against my will in the jurisdiction of Michael DeWine and Donald Trump. My rights, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8 of the United States Constitution, the First Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights are profoundly violated. My property is being actively restricted, making it impossible for me to leave a physical location that I want to, and I'm immediately exposed to profound and extensive T-word. That has been going on my entire life. It continues to go on my entire life. I am from a community that very literally is delusional as shit. They can't accept reality. The clear and present value of my property is overwhelming. This is the unification of physics. This is the complete demonstration of the logical structure of ontology, how you can discuss mathematics, how you can prove anything. So with that being said, I continue to emphasize how profound and severe of a crime this is. It's been going on my entire life, and there is literally not maturity in my immediate environment, in my hometown community, in my overall state, or in my country to care. So again, it's destroyed my life, it's destroyed my health, it's destroyed my property. I will never have a career or a family or basic physical safety because of it. And so, obviously, nobody cares about profound and extensive crime, so we continue on with our derivation. Just progressing through linguistic analysis until we arrive at our definition. How is a sensor naturally defined? What is its unique pairing to an operative word that makes it sufficiently different from every other word? So we just continue to progress through our steps. Talking a lot about, again, from rhythm to algorithm, the linguistic structure produced by our axiomatic derivation of speciality, special with an ITY. Just looking for some sort of definite, undeniable sequence of syllability. Sensorality is impliability. Natural definition, direct iteration. Reply, imply. Sensorality is the cadence of arithmetic. Natural definition, direct iteration. Again, a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a... Or when you start timing or you start, what would that even be called? When you're about to play orchestra music or marching band music, right? You're getting some sort of metronome or some sort of timing going. But what is the cadence of arithmetic? Again, a rhythmetic. Or a rhythmetic, yeah. But just there's rhythm stuffed into arithmetic. Moving along. Is life a filter? What is a filter to a flyer? What is a flyer to a poster? Sensorality realizes liquidity. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is realization to liquidation? What is liquidation to identification? Sensorality is a unique property. Natural definition, direct iteration. So fundamentally, mathematically, we've made a big differentiation, identity versus property, saying all equation signs are statements of properties, and identity is a statement of self. Mathematically, numerically, that's what exponentiation represents, a self-iteration, a self-multiplication. 4 to the 3 is 4 times 4 times 4. Just making a difference between a property and an identity. Moving along. Property is characteristic. Natural definition. What is symbolicality to characteristicality? Is classification characteristic? What is certification to classification? Sensorality is a friendly filter. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality appreciates assortment. Direct iteration. Sensorality is ascertainment. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is certain. Direct iteration. Certain, maintain. Certainty is guarantee. Natural definition. Right, what is rhyming to differentiation? What are files to tiles? What are tiles to flyers? Sensorality enters the center. Direct iteration, center, certain. Sensorality is as in. Direct iteration, for example, as in. Direct iteration. Sensorality is bite-sized. Direct iteration, sensorality is a byte site. Sensorality is a black site. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is inversion identical? Sensorality proliferates profanity. Direct iteration. Sensorality filters profanity. Direct iteration. So typically, anytime we have a form or sequence like that, sensorality proliferates profanity, sensorality filters profanity. Again, the geometric and logical difference is the words that are different, right? So sensorality, profanity to profanity, but showing this progression from proliferation, again, containing the letters, or at least some of the elementality of filters. Is a filter a controller? Do clickers roll? Does licking click? Does ick click? Is lick ick? Direct iteration. What is multiplicity to mobility? What is mobility to tranquility? What is the equity to tranquility? Are quivers tranquil? What is mobility to synchronicity? Is synchronicity loud? Is chronic loud? Proliferation is prolific. Sensorality is prolificality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is many prolific? Sensorality is a prolific profile. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is multiplication prolific? Is proliferation divisible? Sensorality is fascinationality. Natural definition. What is fascination to interest? What is fascination to fantasy? Is fascination obsession? Session obsession. Sensorality is obsessionality. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is obsession to obstruction? Sensorality is an unhealthy obsession. Is obsession obscene? Sensorality makes a scene. Sensorality makes an obscenity. Direct iteration. What is ideation to conceptualization? What is compartmentalization to conceptualization? Emphasizing, I put a hyphen in there. Again, when people say compartmentalization, it almost feels like they naturally want to put like an E in there, like compartmentalization. Just something that struck me naturally. And again, this arithmetic, this cadence, this progression of logic, of just like the natural sound, what sounds good. But compartmentalization doesn't strike me as like a natural pronounced word form. Are compartments compact? Sensorality is a compact compartment. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is a movie set. Sensorality is on set. Direct iteration. What is a set to a scene? Sensorality is a breathtaking scene. Astonishing is breathtaking. Natural definition. Astonishing is magnificent. Natural definition. What is admonishment to astonishment? Sensorality is an exponent. Sensorality is one exponent. Natural definition, direct iteration. Again, x, p, 1, nt. Exponent has the word 1 in it. Potent exponent. And that's our big, what makes exponentiation different than the dichotomy of addition and subtraction, multiplication and division, this self-identification, this self-iteration. A logarithm is a relationship between a base and a power. Again, that's the logical progression. And mathematically, power or exponent at this point in our derivation are interchangeable. Moving along. Potent exponent. Sensorality is exponentiation potential. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is privilege to potential? Sensorality is power potential. Natural definition, direct iteration. Fundamental theorem. An exponent is how many times a base iterates. Natural definition, direct iteration. Could put that as mathematics, but again, we're getting to this uniqueness of words, progression of context, in which what is sensorality, or what is this fundamental definition, needs no explanation. Again, this entire time, all of the information is contained within the words. We're just showing this progression, and once our conceptualization is in the right order, the linguistics is trivial. But that is a complete emphasizing many times. The linguistics are the words, but an exponent is how many times a base iterates. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is many times. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is many times over. Again, emphasizing those exact words in those orders. In that order, used in consensus, used in sentiment, just every day out in the wild, so to speak. But that's what this whole process is, right? If you interact with me on a direct personal level, there's no like internal monologue and outside world. It's complete synchronicity, and it's just the right words to describe the physical processes around you. That's why my life's been so difficult, is because you go in and out of mathematical proofing and people don't even know what's going on, but you can't like get outside of mathematical proofing anybody at any time, right? Everything anybody says is a theorem. It's just, is it novel, unique enough to be a proof or identified as one? Yeah, moving along. Many, moody. Do, lies, die. Direct iteration. Sensorality just won't die out. Direct iteration. Sensorality limits perversion. Sensorality limits inversion. Direct iteration. What is inversion to intensity? What is tension to inversion? What is inversion to variability? What is variability to volatility? What is volatility to sensitivity? What is vibration to volition? Sensorality is a coalition. Natural definition, direct iteration. Coalition has no well-defined conceptualization, right? It's coalition, right? That doesn't mean anything, but it's well-defined conceptually. But luckily for us, we already derived coality. The word, again, the overall generalized linguistic structure, co-something. Sensorality is coalitionality. Natural definition, direct iteration. A union is a coalition. Natural definition, coalition organizes. Direct iteration. A coalition is an agreement. A coalition is an allegiance. Profanity is vulgar. Vulgarity is obscenity. So again, when we talk about sensorality, our immediate conceptualization of censorship with a C, blocking something out, there are three kind of big words that always pop up: profanity, vulgarity, obscenity. Again, obvious answers are obvious. We just have to work through all of this linguistics. What is sensorality is going to be one of these word forms. We've hit a bunch. We just have to show this progression to prove its definition, prove its unique linguistic relationship. Establish its property, right? What is sensorality? Does censorship intervene? Is intervention a theme? Sensorality is interventionality. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is intervention to intention? What is intention to invention? Does censorship obscure? What is obscurity to familiarity? Does lying obscure? What is obscure to secure? What is curing to securing? Is removal a cure? So, got a YouTube comment. Again, I can't respond because you're not allowed to defend your property. Any comments, I've deleted all of my comments off YouTube, none of which I actually want to do. But again, we remain in this world with no laws, so you can't have free speech. You can't have the ability to say I'm going to defend or want to defend my property or my life. Again, all of these delusional people live out in la land where you can just put whatever you want on the internet, and then you have no ability to defend your property because there are no laws. But so I've deleted all my comments. I don't take any of them back. Some of them were a little spicy, but again, it's destruction of historical property or historical documentation of crime. In the same way, if you came onto my property and started threatening me, I could say different things, but people just don't identify property as property, which it is, and you should be able to defend it the same way. But again, we remain in a world with no laws whatsoever. But I got a YouTube comment that was actually a valid one. Somebody commented, is a fraction a type of a logarithm? And so this is, again, at this point in our derivation, because again, we've already worked through this entire conceptualization, and there's no point to like conjecture or think something. All of the information is contained within the letters. We put them in the right order, and it's all of the things you could describe, because the linguistic structure is outside of one person. Right? All of these results I happen to be articulating, but they're just true. And so what is a fraction? Again, we have this infinite uniqueness, we have this independence, we have this indivisibility. So if I see just the number 3/4, right, that's symbolism. What does that mean physically? So we're, again, some numeric 3, some numeric 4, but to me a fraction is like a relationship of two indivisible, discrete things, right? 3 bananas divided by 4 people, right? You don't have an even division. You can't do that. Natural numbers and whole numbers are the only real numbers. So a logarithm, again, this relationship between a base and a power, indiscriminate logically, you can say base and an exponent, at least at this point in our derivation. But is a logarithm a fraction? Is a fraction a logarithm? Right? Both of those numerics, those cardinality statements, 3/4, right? It's still 3 to the 1 over 4 to the 1. So it's like 2 logarithms. But again, just a logarithm is a statement of self-identification, self-iteration, 4 to the 3, 4 times 4 times 4, some statement of self-multiplication. But is a fraction a type of a logarithm? Again, it doesn't really matter. We just have to pose the right question that we can answer definitively this whole entire time. What is factorization to sensation? What is factorization to sensorization? Sensorality sensorizes. Sensorality is sensorizationality. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is sensorization to sensation? Sensorality satiates sensation. Direct iteration. Is change continuous? What is continuity to synchronicity? What is continuity to familiarity? Is causality continuous? Is causality a word? So now again, logically in philosophy and physics, we have causality, cause and effect, all right? But this linguistic constructions that we've pointed out through this entire time, any two sequential A's just feels weird. So if it doesn't have a proper spelling, can it be a proper word? And then causality, again, how would you spell causality? Are we dropping the E and just putting an A there? Then we have 2 A's in a row. Feels like a very not natural linguistic construction. Right? Is spelling continuous? What is spelling to spilling? What is surveillance to casing? He's casing the perimeter. He's casing the scene. Why is it upper and lower case? When we're describing letters, why have we assigned the logic, the linguistics, upper and lower case? Why the word case? Is a case a bound? Upper and lower case. What is a bond to a case? Is a bond debt? Sensorality doubts bound. Direct iteration, emphasizing the D and the B, again the elementality, the order. In doubt, D is the first letter, B is the fourth. In bound, B is the first letter, D is the fifth. But again, D and B are these direct geometric related. It's the same symbol rotated or flipped. Just being careful exactly what words I say where. Like, what is D to B geometrically? Is it a flip? Is it a rotation? Is it chiral? Right there, but it's clearly the same symbol. What is inversion to immersion? What is immersion to perversion? Criminality is the perversion of consent. Natural definition. What is criminality to corruptionality? Sensorality is corruptionality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Corruption, connection. Sensorality is connectionality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is connectivity. Natural definition, direct iteration. Now explicitly, and again, we're back to this, is nothing is touching, but everything is connected. Is that a first principle? Is this kind of one of these theorems that's super general, in the same way this overall conceptual framework, not die, reproduce, and think, is the only conceptual structure you could articulate, right? You're bounded, the things you can talk about are what's present in your culture. And so point being, again, emphasizing nothing is touching, but everything is connected. I don't really consider that a first principle. Kind of when other people articulate that in sentiment, they're talking about a complete demonstration of analysis, which is infinite. Like, you guys have no idea what that entails, and that's what we're doing here. But regardless, nothing is touching, everything is connected. All right, now we're directly expanding that linguistically. Everything is connectivity. Right? Everything is connected, everything is connectivity. And then, but nothing is touching. What is touch to sensation? Sensorality is sensational touch. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality limits touch, direct iteration. Again, fundamentally, our sensors are magnets. A moving charge induces a magnetic field. The actual things we call charge cannot actually touch. Touching is sentimental. Sensorality is a touching moment. Natural definition, direct iteration. Even though things can't physically directly touch, in the same way I don't run around saying, hey, right, I can move, or touching has a logical application outside of its fundamental physical use, right? It's touching, it's sentimental, but things can't actually physically touch. Sensorality is substantial sentiment. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is sentimentality to substantiality? Sensorality appreciates the crease. Direct iteration. Is a pocket a crease? Crease cease. Sensorality ceases. Direct iteration. Cease ease. What is censorship to cessation? What is censorship to cessation? The two different spellings of censorship. Sensorality is the essence of cessation. Natural definition, direct iteration. Cessation is essential. Direct iteration, and that ESS. Sensorality is cessationality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Right? Do sensors cease? What is an end to an edge? So that is where we finish up with derivation for today. Again, just continuing to progress through this well-defined process of analysis, articulating all of the logic that could be answered with our linguistic structure that is present. And so we have to pose the right question. It's kind of what people say in research, but we have to develop a consistent linguistic structure to ask a question that we've already derived the answer to, and the answer is sensorality. Now we're going to ask some general question of well-defined words that already exist, and sensorality is going to be the stabilizing, is what we've called it, which is the right word, but to show this complete consistency linguistically, the overall well-defined words will literally absorb the syllability, the letter structure of sensorality, and it will get completely contained linguistically and conceptually, and then that's how we derive the fundamental physical definition of what a sensor is. Still, our overall motivation, I have senses with an S, my microwave does not have senses with an S. Why does it say it is a sensor, S-E-N-S-O-R, and why does censorship with a C contain the syllability, the letters of sensor with an S? We just need to find this, or come across, or derive into this conceptual framework that directly answers that, or gives us the motivation. Why do we see sensor with an S, and why do we see censorship with a C? And so, as we said at the beginning, my rights continue to be violated. People do not have the emotional maturity or development to care. You've destroyed my whole life. It is another week gone. Literally nobody cares. Literally nobody could care. And I just cannot articulate how inhumane and how flatly disgusting an experience of life where you can say, hey, my rights are violated, it has destroyed everything I've ever worked for, and then you come from a community of quote-unquote Christians or Catholics or just hardworking Americans, or people that are supposed to respect the law. Again, there's no value structure to appeal to. People don't have any values, people don't have any morals, people don't care about anything. Just do the bare minimum to get to the next day, watch some people play some games, cheer over nothing, and then never develop our just maturity. Like, I have never met somebody capable of prioritization, to saying, here's something that matters. All of science isn't understood. Here is the right answer. That causes profound death and destruction across the entire globe. Oh, I'm just going to go watch the next golf match. I just don't get it. I've never understood it. I'm not going to act like I've ever understood it. Because it's a complete moral failure. It's a complete failure of maturity, and just nobody cares. And I've lost my entire life, and nobody else faces like any sort of consequence or punishment. I mean, I'm literally sitting here articulating profound and extensive felonies that are just being committed every single day by the government at every level, by the community at every level, and every single academic institution is either directly stealing from me, which all of them are, and or directly lying to their students about where the progress of science is. And just nobody cares. And so again, continuing to emphasize to my estate, my property is never under any circumstances allowed to benefit the economy of the United States of America, and the entire academic structure is fraudulent. It continues to be fraudulent. It will never be anything that is needed. I mean, there was no theorists, there are no researchers. This is the second complete demonstration of analysis. There was no other logic present. And to all of those researchers out there, the deans at Harvard and the deans at Cambridge and all of these department chairs all over the world, these are just known properties, known identities, known equalities. And if you cannot articulate the known science, all you can do is just destroy education for the next generation. As a pure market dynamic, hey, we don't know what we're doing, Brad knows what he is doing, and it's the description of all of science. Too bad, you guys destroyed my life. I wrote a letter, said, hey, I can do a real research directly to Ohio State University, and I can feel other people's presence and know exactly word for word what they're thinking, and it's go fuck yourself. It's just some sort of low-level competition of people with this identity crisis, this overall underdeveloped, immature behavior, and then they wanted to compete. And then you have people that are so fucking stupid, they don't understand that I'm doing more mathematical proofing in a given day than the rest of the species has ever done in history. And then just because they don't understand the comprehensivity of it, they literally just have emotional, vitriolic responses. No, 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 no. Lindsay Fowler at OSU, Eric Broughton at OSU, Matthew Hedden at MSU, Edwin Lowe at MSU. And these people just lie, cheat, and steal every single day, and all of their property and all of their life experience is built on fraud, built on racketeering, built on conspiracy, and they're literally too stupid to understand what's going on. But now, again, the form of logic is being disseminated to the point where I turn on CNBC, and there's somebody on there saying, the agentic super cycle. Again, this dissemination of logic is a physical inevitability. It's already happening. The forms of logic is present in every TV show and stuff I watch. Why can't somebody give me a little bit of money to eat properly, to sleep properly, and to work? My life still remains. It does not register as something to treat with dignity and respect to literally anybody I have ever encountered. But as always, nobody cares. I continue to make a case to the international law enforcement community. The violation of my rights are so profound in a country that is so disgusting. And I just went out. I'm not political. I'm not trying to do anything, change anything. You guys are too pathetic to ever change. Learning is an individual process. I just went away from weird people. That is so genuinely, literally it. I have never experienced any quality of life. I've never slept consistently, and I've been eaten properly in 14 years. That is not a joke or an exaggeration. No one cares. The law continues to be broken, and the law continues to be treated as just absolute waste of time. I wish I could speak as a man and as a grown adult to other grown adults that have, again, taken away my ability to have a career and a family. I'm sure you could conjure up the verbiage I would use, but you guys are bitches and you hide behind screens and you think there's going to be no consequences at any point in time. Oh, and again, just thank you to all the hardworking Americans out there. It's Friday. You guys need another long weekend off of, again, literally doing nothing besides lying, cheating, and stealing, because you can't do anything else because you're fucking stupid as shit. That's what I have for right now. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.